beloved king, painted a scene so grotesque it inspired in Kamran a sudden impulse to heave. He braced his unsteady hands on the icy floor and wondered, with increasing horror, how many street children had been sacrificed for his grandfather's serpents. It was an imagining too monstrous. Kamran was ill with disillusion, with denial. He willed himself to remain calm, to marshal his thoughts, but an unidentified agony clawed at his consciousness, the pain seeming to emanate from his left arm. He wished to be someone else. He wished to turn back time. Above all, he wished, without a mote of hyperbole, that Cyrus had been allowed to kill him. The whispers of their heretofore silent audience had been growing steadily in the interlude, and now built to an alarming crescendo, the din awaking in Kamran years of training and awareness. His mind sharpened against the gossip, duty piercing the fog of grief and replacing it with anger, focus. A sudden clatter. Kamran looked up in time to see Alizeh toss Cyrus's sword to the floor, the young man flinching as glinting steel struck marble. The foreign king stared at Alizeh with an astonishment to rival Kamran's, fear torpifying his features as she rounded on him. "How dare you?" she said. "You horrible cretin! You useless monster! How could you? How did you—" Cyrus fumbled back an inch. "How did you walk through the fire like that? Why are you not burning?" "You despicable, wretched man," she cried. "You know who I am, but you don't know what I am." "No." Alizeh struck Cyrus across the face with the force of a bludgeon, the impact so violent the young king staggered, audibly striking his head against a column. Kamran felt the shock of it in his bones. He knew he should rejoice in this moment, knew he should celebrate Alizeh's actions against the depraved royal, but his mind would not submit to relief, for the scene unraveling before him did not align with reason. Cyrus appeared entirely too unnerved. The trepidation in his eyes, his astonishment at her approach, the blind steps he took backward as she advanced, it made no sense. Alizeh had insisted to Kamran but moments ago that she did not know the Southern king, yet Cyrus, who'd more than proven his ruthlessness, displayed every sign of alarm in her presence. If they were truly strangers, why would he cower now at the unarmed advance of a girl he did not know? She'd tossed his sword to the floor, insulted him repeatedly, and slapped him in the face. And the young king, who'd minutes ago buried a blade in Zal's heart, hadn't so much as lifted a hand in his own defense. He'd only stood there and stared at her, and all but allowed her to strike him. Almost as if he feared her. Kamran dared not breathe, as a terrifying suspicion dawned in his mind, the thought provoking in him a spasm so acute he thought his chest might crater. From the first, Kamran had been mystified by Alizeh's transformation at the ball. In a matter of hours, her injuries had miraculously healed. She'd discarded the iconic snudder of her servant's uniform, and her drab work dress had been replaced by an extravagant gown no maid could ever afford. And still he denied the truth, so desperate was he to absolve her of artifice. Finally, he understood. He had been deceived. His eyes flickered again to the fallen figure of his grandfather. King Zal had tried to warn him. He'd begged Kamran to see how Alizeh was tethered to the prophecy, to the end of Zal's life, and only now that his grandfather was dead did Kamran understand the magnitude of his own folly. Every foolish word he'd spoken